Yes. What are you going to do with all this free time, man?
Well, let me
Get
let me
into it?
tell you. Yeah, let me get into it.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of free time on our hands, and I mean, we've already kind of been going down this road when we started this podcast last year, which is we're looking for what you would call like a side hustle, right?
Yes.
Like,
yes. We should talk about those all the time.
Yeah. So it's like, what other sort of things can we do with our time where we can sort of build towards sort of adding another spoke to the wheel of that is our career.
Yeah.
You know? So
maybe something that also kind of ties in with the skills that we have already and stuff like that. And it's not like a thing where it's not as much like, well, anyone could do this job. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, you can flip burgers to pay for your music career.
Anyone can start a podcast.
That's exactly it. This is true. But not everyone has the balls.
Not everybody has the deep knowledge that we have.
Deep knowledge.
Deep knowledge of the music industry.
I mean, you got a webcam, you're a handsome guy. I mean, put X and Y together.
There you go.
And then you get a few results for that equation.
Darn right you do. So, I mean, that's one of the things that we did early on. I mean, why not? If you've been thinking about it, now would be a great time to fire up a podcast and try that, you know.
There's a really cool post by a podcast called the Side Hustle Podcast.
Oh, sweet.
And it's just a cool podcast in general. But he has a post and it's 200 different ways to make money on the side. And so problem being is a lot of them won't work. Not a lot of them. I'd say probably like 30% of them won't work because of like the pandemic. Is it at pandemic level? We're in a pandemic now.
Yeah, okay. That's the word they're using.
Yeah, the P word. Yeah, so it has a big list and it's just to get, juices flowing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But there's things like, did you know for Uber Eats, you don't have to have a card that's as new as 5 years. It can be up to 20 years old.
For Uber Eats.
Yes. So once again, and I mean, it's like, oh, I don't want to drive Uber Eats.
That one may not work for
the pandemic,
this current situation, but
just knowing things like that,
right?
For future, after when we have a slow winter, it's like when winter comes up. Yeah. Well, what's better than not making your rent? Driving Uber Eats a little bit.
Or I mean, people do that on bicycle, right?
Yep. Get some exercise.
Yeah, it's a good way to sort of stay in shape.
But there's
downtown.
There's other stuff like that. Like there's more long-term stuff. Like one dude, what he would do is he'd buy like raw land. Yeah, he'd buy like raw land, and he has a whole podcast around it. And like it was his way of investing, but it's full-time living now. And it's just like little side hustles like that. I mean, obviously Start a Podcast was on there, but tons of weird stuff. Like there's a thing called TaskRabbit. And TaskRabbit is someone needs a job done, they just post it on TaskRabbit. It could be a job like, I need you to lift something. And they put the money on there, I think. Or they could be like, I need you to assemble this IKEA furniture. And it's on there. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. You should check it out. It's the Side Hustle Podcast. And it's a post of just 200. We'll find it because we have all the time in the world. 200 different ways to do side hustling.
How about Fiverr? Have you used Fiverr at all?
Fiverr, yeah. Fiverr is like 5-minute jobs, right?
I didn't know that. As far as I could tell, it was like a way to get people to do graphic design for you or to get music made for you. I think it's anything that's a 5-minute job. So say for instance, this is an example that I can't confirm, but say for instance, if this worked, if you were a notary and you could sign on documents, which I don't think you can do online, you could do it on there if it's legal. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah.
Anything that's like a quick job for a quick buck.
Yeah. And so, I mean, look for services like that, especially if you're into producing. Yep. And you can make music from home. There's still lots of business going on in terms of people making content online where maybe they need a theme song for their podcast or their YouTube channel or what have you. But think about right now as almost a gift in a way.
100%. The way that I'm thinking of it is if this goes on for 3 weeks, some people are just going to be getting drunk and blah, 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 and watching like Netflix. But I have 3 or 4 weeks to get ahead of the curve. You can practice a bunch. You could, exercise a bunch. You could start getting it for your album if you want to get, your album going. you're being given these weeks.
See, that's the thing, is like, especially if the aid does come and your rent is maybe relaxed and your situation, everything slows down. It's like, it's almost like if you want to look at it this way, and I understand that this is a serious situation and there are lives at risk and all the rest of that. And we're not trying to make light of that, but from our perspective, it's like you said, it's like you've been given these weeks where it's just like, you don't have to work right now. So you've got this opportunity to maybe build something for the future, like a podcast, a YouTube channel, etc. Right? Or a Skype lesson business or something you've been I really want to start doing this, but I don't have any time because I've got 3 gigs this week and 3 gigs next week and rent's due and I got to go work my other job because I'm trying to get, trying to juggle all these plates all at once.